Welcome back to the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. This is The Depths of Felfan, Episode 20, Funnels and Tunnels, Part A.
All the things!
Yeah, looks like a table.
I'm just gonna pretend that I understood just what was happening there.
Oh,
What
that's
I'm doing that.
This is not bad.
Like that.
That's good.
Why not?
Nice. Yeah, that's a good sized table. Here's my stuff now. Thank you, Heidi.
Gail, do you need a side table?
No, I'm alright.
A stable? A stable.
Definitely a stable form of things. Yes, agreed.
Enough horsing around.
I literally grew up in a stable, so don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
That explains why you're so uncouth.
I'm just over here horsing around.
Nah.
Jordan hate you.
Yeah, you do.
What happened?
Oh, you got two of them.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I got one for you, genius.
Oh, that's for me. Oh, Jesus.
Like I said, literally, happy birthday.
Oh,
Nice job.
I always
Jackass.
saw this one. my eyes, I just saw this one.
Wait, you want a diet? You get the little one?
Yeah. We gotta make sense.
Yeah, I got one of those too, but I figure I'll start with the blue one.
So, at last, we were, before we get to it, happy birthday, Zach.
Today's your
You're old
birthday.
now. Congratulations.
So, everybody, welcome back to the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. Today we have The Depths of Felfan, Episode 20.
Yikes.
Episode 20. How old are you, by the way, Zach?
I'm 23.
23, alright, we'll be there shortly.
Oh, he's
Maybe
just
there's
a
shortly.
baby.
Yeah.
Last week, you guys entered the Temple of Keldrin, the lost Temple of Keldrin. You made your way through a series of trials, succeeded all of them by using your brains and your bronze in a very, very smart way to take out a very powerful dragon. Very
That was
good.
friggin' epic.
The Ash to Ashes, I think, has become my favorite episode title. I think it has been.
If I didn't already have inspiration, I would ask for an inspiration point for that.
But you guys did that. You opened the door leading to the Hall of 1,000 Deaths. You all entered this hallway. Most of you got through. I did not anticipate all of you getting through with so many of you. However, most of you did. The ones who got kicked out are left in shambles. Your fear state continues and, in fact, deepens. So that would just be the NPCs, Deximus, Dermot/Ravum, and Delkek. You guys are all outside there shaking in fear. You, Delkek, have just been through about 655 deaths that you've experienced from start to finish, either killing or being killed. You've seen them all. Those that were inside got to meet a god. The god of death himself, Keldrin. He then blessed you with certain things. Our friend Tanith, Tanith's new line of breath weapon, you a line or a cone?
Line.
How many D8 does it do?
Currently,
2 D8?
2d6.
2d6, add a d6 onto there for your new dragon form. I forgot to tell you that.
Chonky boy.
Yes, very much so. So
Yeah,
Tanith,
I'm 9.5 feet tall now.
yeah, you can see that his scales down on his body are rougher, bigger in some places, and seem to be smaller in other places around his arms. And he's just, in general, a massive creature. He has these two giant horns sticking up out of his head that do a little curl at the top.
Kind of think like a Nico Bolas kind of a thing.
Perfect. And these hard, crystalline blue spikes sticking out of his back were the floppy kind of things you had before were.
Yeah.
Now they've all turned erect and they're all crystalline blue with little lines of white through them.
Almost like lines of electricity.
Erlon had been granted special boons by his patron, his god. He's now much more effective monk than he was before.
Indeed.
Galus was blessed by her dead husband Alaric, which we'll leave that blessing under the table for now, for the rest of you to learn what that is.
I got a door.
Nani got the way out. Nani asked for the way out, and it was granted to her.
I want to get out of here, man.
Don't forget my stick.
Oh, that's right. Angelus was given the stick to find the way out of the mountain. You guys were granted access, or granted permission to leave the temple, and given a way out of the mountain. And that's where you guys find yourselves now. Outside of the door that has been reformed to this hard, now that you guys know it, it was a kind of an onyx kind of stone, and it's reformed with the large 3-clawed hand in it. Those who just came out can look around and you can see Ravum, Deximus, and Delkek. Ravum is off a bit of ways. Looks like he's studying the reliefs inside the wall. Deximus is just sitting in the corner with his sword on his knees, just his hands on top of it. Deximus looks kind of disturbed, irritated. He's got something behind his eyes. Delkek, what do they see when they see you?
Combination of disappointment in himself for not making it through with the rest of them, and definitely a little bit of fear still, where he's just kind of like his eyes are constantly darting around, like, when's the next thing gonna jump out of the shadows and eat me?
Right? And that's when these guys come out of the glass. They just merge outwards. And you guys are there. Erlon, what do you do?
Hold on.
I always pick someone who's got something in their goddamn mouth.
Because
Galus,
we're always eating. Hey, what's up?
what do you do? The divining rod just directed towards the crack in the ground that the displacer beast had shot up. It snapped at something a few times over the night and went back down. That same area.
And that's where it's telling us we should go.
That's where it's pointing to. So you guys right now are in the Shadowed City, this portion of the Shadowed City, this corner cobblestone. And the 2 buildings are still there with the lights on. You guys are familiar with Tanzani's Tinkerbox. And Slim Skin's Inn. I can't remember if I gave his inn a name. For the life of me, I've been trying to remember and I've been
Good old
failing.
bones. Yeah, you did. I wrote it down.
Did you write it down? Good. Dice of inspiration for writing that down if you can provide that name to me.
Let me find it.
New name, Slim Skin's Place of Rest.
Or unrest.
Slim Skin's
Bones, Slim Skin. Gult, Innkeeper. That's what I wrote down.
Okay, his first name is Gult. I don't think I gave a name for it then.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I did.
Yeah, his nickname was Bones, Slim Skin.
Yeah, and his first name is Gult. Gult, Bones, Slim Skin. So we'll call it, just call it Bones Inn. Because there's no thing on the door anymore. The wood has rotted off and it's gone, so it's just the Bones Inn.
Bones in
Yeah, what's your worry bones here?
him.
Stop it, George.
No.
No, don't keep going. Bad
I don't know.
puns
I
are
thought,
so
I thought that
good.
was kind of humorous.
So,
That wasn't humorous yet. This is humorous.
what did you do, Gillis?
I guess I'd tell them I have this stick now. And it's supposed to take us home. So, we have to follow where the stick wants us to go. Why are you laughing about my stick?
Imagine walking out, there's all these traumatized people, and she just goes, I have a stick! And it's gonna take us home!
I gotta
All I'm picturing is there's this like little social media trend where they've got dogs who like pick up sticks, and the audio is found a stick on the ground, and now I'm gonna use it.
Erlon.
Oops, sorry, Erlon, yeah.
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so Erlon takes a look after finally getting out of that hell, and he puts his hands behind his head and looks around the Shadowed City, and he looks over to Delkek, who is currently schizophrenic at the moment, and he reaches into one of his pockets and he feels for that remaining like half bag of salt he's got in his back, and he looks over to the Tanzani's Tinkerbox up ahead in the distance, and wordlessly he just starts walking that way.
Going that way.
No,
And
no, the stick says this way.
I was gonna say that's the opposite of what she said.
Tan, if you step out of the Hall of 1,000 Deaths, or through it, you guys didn't have to transverse the hall again. The door just exited outwards. What do you feel right now?
Big. Because then I grew by like 3 foot.
Yeah, you were looking down at everybody.
Oh, this is different.
More so than you already were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
You were like, what, 6 foot before?
I was like 6'8" originally.
Oof.
Now I'm like 9 something.
9.5.
Jesus.
You
Pretty
hold
good
your pole arm in your hand, and it is dwarfed compared to you now.
Oh, that new fancy battle axe, like, this seems smaller.
Yeah, it is.
He's so large now. With
It's
count
so,
as a finesse
it's so
weapon.
large. It's right. It's almost an oversized hand axe.
Single-handed weapon.
That's what it feels like to you, and it feels puny.
When we get out of here, I need some new weapons.
Appropriately sized weapons.
You just walk into a blacksmith.
Hey, can you make me a 6-foot blade?
What?
I need big.
You could put Nani in your pocket now.
Damn near. I could yeet the angry dwarf.
Wait
Not
until
angry?
wait till she's
Until
raging
she
and then
rages.
just
Yeah.
boom.
That's the plan.
She's just disappointed.
She becomes a weapon.
Yes.
And
Actually, no. You become an action now. You just got nani'd.
you're also going to notice that your clothing, that was before your black Oros clothing, is all back. It had burned heavily, but where there was some still underneath your armor, he was able to magically reconstruct it. And as you're checking it out, you're looking at it, it looks brand new, almost magical. You can tell it's, well, you may not be able to. Almost looks magical, brand new, right off the press. You find something connected to just a bit of a string, kind of a thread that's kind of hanging off of it.
Umbrella.
I got it.
You remember that from a small halfling who offered it to you, and then gingerly patted you on the side, hooking it into your clothing.
Huh. That's unexpected.
That ring is magical, as he said.
Hooray.
But you don't quite know what it does yet.
Nope, I'll find it eventually.
Get that out of the way before, and you got your sphere.
Don't be
Remember you
old.
got your sphere? That's right, that's what you got also. You got your sphere. And now, do you happen to be, did you put it in a bag, or did you just holding on to this sphere? It's like about this big.
I feel like I probably had a pocket. I think there's probably a pocket.
Right.
Shoved into a pocket.
Alright,
It's not exactly organized.
you roll perception, everybody.
Myself too.
Yep. As you're going, this is, you would have seen this as you guys came out.
17.
17.
No, given.
DC 10.
17 as well.
17. I would be great if Nani is the only one who didn't notice.
It's only to 5.
Okay.
Plus
5?
plus whatever.
Delta?
thing is.
Okay, so you're, you're still just taken.
I'm kind of stuck in my
I
own
just
brain.
said about popcorn. I forgot about all the other things.
The rest of you do see this glowing blue light
coming from my pocket.
coming from your pocket.
Nani tries really hard to pretend that it's not there. She's
You're
ignoring
alone.
it.
And Airline goes to Tanzanians.
He's heading over to Tanzania. Casts a glance, seeing the blue light, but he just doesn't pay it any mind. He's at the lunch at the moment.
Okay. You're making your way to Tanzania's Tinker Box. Did you do anything?
Speaking of lunch,
Yeah.
should we eat?
We're gonna throw some
No, I meant literally like should we eat? Should we eat?
in-game.
In-game.
Yeah, if you guys want to, absolutely.
Is
heard the
there
rain,
is
sorry.
there hungry besides rain?
Oh, here it comes. Here comes the rain.
Here comes the fun.
Can we go dance in the
Pull
rain?
it
I
off.
mean, you
There.
can.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I probably already have pneumonia, so.
God.
We already
There
got
is.
it. Might as well.
It's just
Awesome
a
song.
wall of rain.
The best kind of rain.
I bet you the back deck's dry. It does that here
A cast
sometimes.
wall of water.
And now here's Waterwall.
You're gonna be the one that drenches me.
You can't see that one, that's so bad,
Instead of waterwall, waterfall.
So Erlon is sending to Tenzon. Is anybody else doing anything? Do you look?
I'm gonna make some food.
You're making food.
I assume that seems like an appropriate. Oh, no, wait. Did we eat when we were inside?
You guys are hungry. You guys are hungry.
Okay,
You've been in there. You don't know how long you've been in there, but you're
Let's
hungry.
make some
You're
food.
famished. You've been through a couple of battles. You had some food. I think you guys broke down and had a short rest, maybe a long
I
one
think we had
in
a
the
long
temple.
rest, yeah,
So
before
you
we
had
killed the
something to
dragon.
eat. But this is after the Hall of 1,000 Deaths. It sapped everything you guys have.
Yay, levels of exhaustion.
No, not that quite.
Oh, I already
But,
had that.
Oh, yeah, I already had it. There you go.
Great.
Yeah, so Nani breaks up the food. You guys go
I
in
rolled
the
a-
abandoned
I rolled a
building,
15.
or just do it right there?
I'll just do it right there.
Okay,
In the
sounds
middle
good.
of
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
In the middle of the street.
Well, I mean, there's a random,
That's how I roll.
random fire sitting out there anyway from when we got back. So.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we're in the middle
Was there?
somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you guys have a fire pit set
Oh,
up.
right. Because we
Couple
were
of-
doing that.
I don't know what you burnt. Yeah, you would have. Doesn't matter.
Bits of old buildings and things.
Magic.
Magic.
There was some old scraps of wood that you guys.
I can
broke,
create
right?
campfire. Remember we had this discussion?
That's right. I remember. Here we go. Good.
Because I'm like, can I create fire? And you're like, it's a campfire.
You guys huddling around the fire. Nani begins to break out some food. It's you still got fairly dry rations, but you know you can work your magic
Some
with it.
salted meats and
That's right.
some root vegetables.
You guys are able. You have water. You're able to boil some things up and make them warm, and make some tea as well. Erlo, you get to Tanzani's Tinkerbell. Just the door waves before you.
Stops, just, temporarily breaking out of the phase that he's in at the moment because he remembers how creepy Tanzania was. And he just lets out a sigh and pushes the door. And where's the pull door? Is it a pull or a push?
Push.
Push. So he first takes out the little bag of remaining salt that he's got, and he pushes the door open and steps inside, closing it behind him.
As you walk in, you catch a glimpse of her. It looks. Who was you guys were the last ones in there, right?
It was me and
It was me, it was me, Zach, and Erlon and
We
Pam.
didn't come at all.
You would notice that it's like she hasn't even moved, as if her eyes didn't move since the last time you guys were in there.
that's
Unnerving.
But you go in and you shut the door.
roll a charisma saving throw to make sure Erlon can maintain his composure, and he fails miserably.
Okay, so play that out as Tanzani looks at you and says, "Welcome back to Tanzani's Tinkerbox."
The hairs on Erlon's neck stand up, and his teeth grit.
I can see that you have seen him.
Yes. He just seems to be lost for words at the moment. He's just trying. He's averting his gaze, and he clears his throat and tries again. And he says, crossing his arms, and he says, "We went through a hall, and he sniffles and he says, saw so much death. And my grandfather shakes his head and he takes the salt and walks up to Tanzani. I need something. You said you are the purveyor of magical odds and ends.
Yes, that I am.
He sets the half bag of salt. Sounds like we're talking about cocaine.
I'm thinking about bath salt.
Sets the half bag down, and he says, "There's half of this bag left. Do you have anything?" Perhaps he taps on the staff on his back, or do you have a better staff or something or anything that could prove useful?
I have many things. She reaches over and grabs the bag of salt. As she grabs the bag, you can see the bag She lifts it up and it's empty, then she drops the bag.
Oh, that's gone now. Okay.
And then
She's
she
nodding.
puts her two hands together. And you can see as she opens them, there's this dull, pale yellow energy. And she just moves her hands apart. Outside of game,
Takes a nervous step back.
outside of game, did you want anything specific, or did you want to roll the dice for that? Because they're two both very powerful items for you.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah?
I'm thinking that, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get you to roll percentile.
Yep.
And the higher percentile, 75 and below is what you want. 25 and up is not what you want.
Gotcha. 38.
38, okay. As she stretches out her hands, this pale yellow energy, only about half a hand span. And you can see she's almost shaping it as she moves her hands out. And then she flips her hands up, palm up, and you can see this yellow energy kind of turn brown and discolor. And it seems to be gaining texture, seems to be hardening. And you can see there's scales that seem to be poking out of the leather itself, and then they grow into scales about thumb size and cover the entire belt.
He takes a step forward and just studies this, just bewildered.
You can see that these scales, as they're popping up from a center point on this piece of leather, begins to harden around, and in that center portion you can see a small glow of green, but it's not the dull green that you guys have seen before. And it's not you guys seen another green color, it's not that one. This is a very clear, very bright, pale green. And it's just sitting there. The gem you can see, you can barely see the gem, but you can more so see the glow around it.
And so this is taking form.
Yeah.
From the Erlon he's just studying it wordlessly and just seeing what comes to life in front of him. And he says he'll almost say something, but then it won't escape his mouth.
She doesn't seem to notice. You can see her two eyes. One is focused on it directly, and one's kind of going this way and that way and this way a little bit. Then the glowing stops. Her hand stops glowing, and she lays it on the table, and then she puts her hands back on her midsection, folded over.
Puts a hand on the scaled ring of dragonhide leather, and he says, what is this? What is this?
This belt is derived from the scales and skin of Gelniro,
I'm not familiar.
one of the great legendary dragons that flew through the sky.
Oh, I see. So this is made of his scales and hide?
Yes.
And so will it... I suppose this will greatly imbue me with strength, I suppose. He takes it and holds it up and looks at that. Well, is the gem no longer glowing? at this
It's
point?
glowing, but it's so small, it's almost just like a fragment of a piece, but it's the glowing that you notice. The glowing of the gem is more iridescent than the gem itself.
It's that one green LED in the middle of the night.
Erlon takes it and he dons it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will require attunement up to an hour. So you put it on, you don't really feel anything, but you put it on, and she says, it fits you just right. You will find your abilities much more improved.
Oh, I see. Thank you. What was your name again?
My name is Tenzani, owner of Tenzani's Tinkerbox.
I see. He puts a hand through his hair, and he's just visibly shaken. Thank you.
You said that you required a more powerful staff as well.
I don't have any more. He points at, is the bag still on the table, just empty?
You pick up the bag, it's empty.
Yeah, I don't have any more.
She looks you up and down, and she says, "Oh, but you have plenty to give." One eye looks you up and down. The other one just stays steady, kind of just rolling balanced in the bottom of the eye of the eyeball itself.
He furrows his brow and looks, and he says, then he raises it and he leans in and he says, "Give, like, my Del kick?"
And her hand just kind of unravels in front of you. You can see this pale, clammy hand, or maybe a bit of skin sloughing off. You can see a little bit of a bone there.
This is a pact for Keldrin.
It is payment. There are no tethers requiring your allegiance to Keldrin. Just payment.
He considers everything for a moment, and he just sets his hand upside down,
So
and he closes his eyes and averts his gaze, because he remembers what happened to Del.
now you set your hand in there. There's this iron grip on your hand. I'm going to do it just like this iron grip on your hand. And do you look at all?
Nope, he turns his head for a moment, then he looks away.
And you feel the stabbing pain in your palm. It doesn't move. Do you look?
He opens his eye, but he doesn't look. He looks away. He
Out of
keeps
the
looking away.
peripherals of your vision, you can see this black steel dagger sticking through your hand and then through Tanzani's, sticking out about 6 or 7 inches below.
Yikes.
And
You gotta
she,
get the hepatitis.
oh, yeah, that's right. Then she draws it out and releases your hand.
I'm bleeding.
No, you're not bleeding. So you can see that it heals over and cauterizes this little slit from the bottom of your palm to the top. And eventually, after a few seconds, it fades away.
Caroline reels and holds his hand for a moment, and he just looks up at the ceiling.
Oh. Constitution saving throw.
Yep. It's an 8.
Roll another one for me.
14.
Roll another one for me.
Oh, God. 5.
5?
It's a flat dice roll.
No problem. You feel an immediate strain on your body. Like the bones and the weight is too much to carry. You get 2 levels of exhaustion.
Oh, yay. I wonder what that does at second level. Because I know 6 is death.
6 is bad.
6 is bad, Mom John.
I think it's a disadvantage on checks and attacks. With second
Quite
level.
possibly. We'll confirm that.
Second level is speed is halved.
Oh,
First level is disadvantage on ability checks.
You also take 14 points of necrotic damage as you can feel it pulsing through your body.
Oh,
Then that pressure relieves itself out of your body. You're no longer in pain. You are very tired. These hit points will not come back until you have a long rest.
okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And she again puts her hands together. You can see this pale yellow glow as she pulls her hands apart, and this staff begins to grow, this white, almost ivory-looking staff. And she holds her hands out, and her arms begin to extend a little more than they should.
Oh, no.
Just a little more. There's no sounds, no bones cracking, no nothing, but they go about 10 to 12 inches on either side of her, too long.
For a second, I thought you were going to say 10 to 12 feet. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
Stretch Armstrong.
And then
Ruh-roh.
you can see a long, pale staff. You have received the bull oak staff.
Bull oaks?
It requires attunement.
Treatment.
And Tanzani says, this staff has been enchanted by Faldera herself.
Oh, great. He's holding his stomach.
This staff is made of an incredibly hard wood and has a resemblance of granite.
I see. It's like ivory. Oh,
It will give you a boon to your strength. Get +1 to your strength score.
what's it tuned?
That's a 2. You can also avoid attacks very easily. You can parry an attack, add 2 to your AC with your reaction.
Nice.
It will also never sink, and it can hold up almost a whole human body.
Oh, and I've been gaining weight. Oh, he takes the staff, holding one hand on his midsection. Thank you.
It's a narrow piece of the bull oak tree. Roll history.
History. Not one.
No idea.
That looks like a staff.
What you can see, though, a narrow piece of the branch of the bull oak tree. It appears that it had fallen off, maybe, and floated in the ocean for several hundred years to become such a hard piece of wood. It's straight and slender, with its head formed into a great knot, with two stunted branches gnarled more so. And that is what helps you carry the blade. Those two kind of small sticks that pop out.
It's like a staff with a hilt.
No, that's at the top. It's just a regular staff that goes up into
Oh,
a
it's
narrow
like a
knot,
fork.
and then it has like two kind of pieces of driftwood coming off. Yeah, that's
With a club.
Right.
Yes, there's a. Okay. Good. Those will all require attunement.
Gotcha.
All right, and you're standing in Tanzani's tinkerbox. She's staring there, looking at you. Quiet, but very strange.
He holds him up. He holds himself up with the staff, and he takes a breath out, holding his midsection, and he lets out a labored breath, and he says, "Are we going now?"
Thank you. You look at her, you can see her other eye that was all kind of not really working, kind of solidify and become steady with both eyes as they both fall to you.
I'll be able to roll Arcana to see if I can understand what's happening here.
Of course.
She's reconstituting herself.
Nat 13,
Good enough.
total of 16.
16? Yeah, you seem she took something from you. You feel it's gone. You can feel you're a bit more cold than you were before. And she appears to be a little more lifelike. Her eye has come back to normal functioning. Her hands did the whole stretch thing, you know?
Check your soul, dude.
Yeah, she took
Check
a
your
little
soul. Soul
piece
check!
of it.
Nope.
So Erlon offers a nod, and the party would see him exit Tanzani's tinkerbox up the street, and he's got a new staff. Seems to be made of this odd ivory-like wood, and he's holding his midsection kind of hunched over, and he's slow now compared to what he normally is.
Using the staff to walk.
Using the staff to walk, yep. He's got his normal one on his back, and he's taking step by step.
What do you roll perception?
Can I do a medicine check?
Yeah,
We should
sure.
get close
Just go
enough.
over to him and
That's actually-
check him out.
Solid 3. I'm busy.
It's a 21.
21. Good.
You roll good
Oh,
now.
that's
20. Okay,
Plus whatever.
you guys can roll. Delpet and Nani roll history.
History?
I rolled a nat 1. I don't know what's wrong with
On your
that.
medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
For,
nothing medically. Nothing. He seems to be drained physically. He's pale. You can see his eyes are a bit sunken in. There's dark marks around them. Nothing like the virile Erlon that went in there,
So,
or went into the Hall of 1,000 Deaths anyway.
9 for me.
9.
That was an 8.
You guys, he's got the staff, and it looks really nice. It looks like a really nice piece of driftwood. When you look at it, it looks. For a second, you thought you seen the knot, the head, kind of looked like an elephant. Delicate. You kind of thought it looked like a goat, maybe, but then it just disappears. It's gone. It's like no, it was just a trick of mind. Trick of mind.
Quick question for you about game. That belt you just got. Did you find that? Is that the one that you found in Fisbin's the other day?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the +1. By the way.
Yep, I figured. Cool. Alright.
So medically, you check him out. You look at him. He just seems exhausted. Nothing. He doesn't have any wounds. Did you show her your hand?
He hasn't hiding it.
I didn't. You
For sure.
check him over his skin. You don't see any wounds anywhere, but he's cold to the touch, clammy. Maybe maybe I wouldn't want to say he's cold and feverish, but kind of appears to be feverish, but cold to the touch.
Clammy.
Just ask him.
Would Dell, having experienced similar things, would he have picked up on that and just kind of been like, you did the
Your
thing?
huge perception, you definitely see there's a similarity. The Especially him coming out of Tanzani's stinker box, for
Yeah.
sure.
I just look at Airline and be like, what did you do in there?
He sits down on the ground and he crosses his legs beside the fire, and he with his free hand he tugs on his new belt that he has as well. Dragon scales, it seems, green dragon scales, and dragon hide. And he says, with the staff across his lap, I traded in what I could to gain power.
What did you trade?
I don't know.
Gaelish just gives him a look like,
Just go.
Are you too mid?
Just go maul all
Also,
over.
with the food that Nani has prepared, would there be any sort of HP regained from that?
Short rest.
Short rest?
Short rest, definitely.
If Dell needs any help, he can get it.
Tanzani's.
Sorry?
Tanith is actually going to get up and walk into Tanzani's.
Of course, yeah.
you too.
You two.
Surprisingly enough.
I said, no, not you too.
Oh, don't worry.
You guys do see him walking off towards Tanzani's, though.
I have to step under the door frame, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're crouching in big time. It's going in sideways. You mean your tail and your spikes are all... Your tail's not hard. But your spikes on your back are stiff. So when you're going through, you're scratching and scraping the wood off. You can see it's just tearing through the wood. Just tearing right through it. There's this big gash on the upper doorway. Maybe about the size of your half your forearm sticking up. Just took the stone right out of the wall as you were going through.
Just rolling a fucking china shop.
And you notice when you go in here now, it's a lot smaller than it was. Your tail's kind of hanging out the door. It doesn't shut all the way.
This is different.
And you see Tanzania look up at you, and she says, "Oh, well, you have seen him, haven't you?"
Yeah, you could say that.
And when you speak, it's just this booming, grating voice.
I was, like, whispering at her.
Even so.
Just to be subtle.
Just like, I think I described it last time, like crocodile. Yeah, kind of like that. So your at-rest sound is just that rumbling of a crocodile, like you hear in your belly. Just like that. Perfect.
Basically, if you hear Tanith sleeping later, you're just going to hear this.
Kind of like when he snores now, it's less of a humanoid snore and much more of a reptilian. Oh, that's great. Just like that.
Awesome.
That's how he sounds when he's snoring now.
That's what an alligator sounds like.
Here we go.
Demosuchus.
Here we go. Our own saltwater crocodile right here.
Basically.
That's strong.
Saltwater / dragon.
Yep. Okay, so you're in Tanzania's stinker box.
And I'm not going to kill her.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Surprisingly enough. She's going to live.
What do you do?
I'll just say to her, as you can see, I am now more than what I was. I'll hold up my maul, which looks like this big. My weapons are now insufficiently sized. I'll hold up that battle axe as well. It looks like a hatchet. I require, best way to say this, something bigger.
Do you want something different and bigger? Or would you want something that you have made into a bigger form?
What would the price be for both?
I take many forms of payment.
Pull out the full bag of salt. I have this. Plop it on the counter.
What would you like?
Something appropriate.
She looks at you and she gestures towards the hand axe you're holding.
The battle axe.
She reaches out her hand.
I'll hand it over.
Putting her hand in, you notice that she just holds it. It's fairly large in her hand, but just like no weight whatsoever. She holds it, she puts it down on the table, and she raises her hands over it. She takes the bag of salt, she grabs it, she lifts it up, and you notice as she lifts it up, it's like it just goes flat, and she drops it again. She waves her hands over the blade, and you can see the rim around the axe handle begin to glow bright red as it's almost inactive. You can see a bit of smoke come off of the wooden table that she's working at, and you can almost see the metal begin to bubble, as if so you see like water underneath paint. It's like bubbling on the walls. You can see kind of moving all into one side, and then you can kind of see it just ever so slightly begin to grow. And when from one side of the axe head, another blade begins to grow out. And you can see it on that side to mirror the blade on the opposite side. The staff begins to grow about 8 to 10 feet long. She takes her hands up, and the magic goes away. She puts her hands back. It is now a great axe.
Excellent.
She says, "You will have no trouble returning those to which belong to Keldrin anymore.
This is appropriate.
I am glad that I could please you."
Just that voice, man, is so on brand. I
Well,
love it.
you're leaving the Shadowed City, get it while you can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't worry, I can do a really creepy voice too if you want me to. Don't make me.
I'm old Greg. Coming to see you soon.
Oh, God, here you go.
You sound like Gopher from Winnie the Pooh. All you need is that little like whistle on the essence.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't really do that very well.
So change your damage for the axe in kind. It's 1d12 now from what it was before.
I'm just gonna straight up switch it up for a great axe and put all the
Gotcha.
Okay,
Sounds good. Okay. So do you leave Tenzana's tinkerbox?
yes.
Okay. The door is still open and cracked.
Wordlessly.
Then you guys can see if anybody's watching. The tail kind of slips in, door shuts and opens, and Tanith comes out again, knocking another piece of the door frame off. But as he leaves, the door kind of shuts, catches his tail, and it slips out.
I guess having kind of seen what's going on, despite his kind of thing, I mean, he had some food, so he's kind of feeling a little bit more bulky. I expended literally all of my hit dice to get back to full hit points.
There you go.
Woo.
A little more color in your face.
Exactly. I look a little bit better, so he's just kind of like, Dell just kind of notices that, he's coming back with stuff. Tan is now coming back with an appropriately sized great axe. Alright. As much as I don't want to go back and visit that old hag, it's looking like it does have its benefits. So yeah, he's gonna get up and he's gonna wander back over to Tenzani as well.
You walk into Tenzana's tinkerbox and you go in.
Looking at the missing chunks. Just like
You open the door, it closes behind you, and you hear, welcome back to Tenzani's tinkerbox.
Actually, you know what? I guess that would be a charisma saving throw, probably, because that was what you did when you walked in,
That
right?
was just for flavor.
For flavor, I think I'm actually going to do that to see how terrified he is of this.
Disadvantage
That's
because-
exactly what I was going to do.
you're
I'm
gonna
a
suck
step
the-
ahead of
yeah,
you.
for sure.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, it grates you.
Oh, yeah. He's visibly kind of like, yeah, I forgot how creepy you are.
You can feel the echoes inside you of where there once was something. There's like a space now, but all you can feel is this amping anxiety of this creature looking for you. Now one of her eyes is both
Oh, yeah,
on you.
because both are
She's
now
a
there.
little bit more fleshy around the gills.
Yeah.
She doesn't have
Erlen's
If
flesh.
she
Just how many kills?
If anyone would get the kills, it would be 10 of right now.
Right? He just kind of, even despite seeing and forgetting how creepy Tenzani is as he walks in, he just says, he just kind of looks at her still, and he's just like, well, he's like, I see you're providing boons to everyone else. I didn't come close to actually visiting Keldrin, unfortunately.
Oh, that is a shame.
Ugh.
Such a waste of energy.
That's one way to put it. But what do you have? Do you have anything in your tinker box that might befit?
Unfortunately, I cannot help you. You owe a debt.
He pulls out his 3/4 bag of salt. Well, that's covered.
We're supposed to say 3/4.
Yeah,
I have
because
75 cents. What can I buy?
right.
Give me something good.
Give me something good. Yeah.
She said, the debt you owe is not to me.
Oh, right. He kind of clues in, and he's like, right, I need to go see Bones. I forgot about Bones. Because I had drinks with him. So yeah, he'll say, I'll be back. And he leaves and he goes over to see Bones. I just clued into that. I was like, oh shit.
You guys see Dalkek leave Tenzani's ticket box and head back over to Slimskin's Bones Inn.
Nani and Galus can hear Erlon mutter, he's going to get himself killed. Under his breath.
Did you say I could or couldn't hear you?
Could.
Well, you're going to have to speak up.
Oh, yeah, so...
I have my good ear in the thing.
Oh. So Nani and Galus would be able to hear Erlon say under his breath, well, as he's meditating, oh, he's going to get himself killed.
As he walks from Tenzani's tinker box over to Slimskins.
Mr. Slimskin.
He's under the impression that he just made a deal with her and is now going to make a deal with him.
Not quite yet.
You head into Bones Inn?
I do.
Okay, as you go in there, same as before, you see Slimskin over there behind the bar.
Yep.
Towel over his clavicle. And you know the glass, you can hear the every now and then a knuckle go click, 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 click.
That's great.
And he says, "Oh, well, glad to see you back."
Yeah, we have a tab to settle up, don't we?
We do.
So he just throws the bag of salt at him. Take what you need.
What's your salt?
Value is hard to determine in salt.
It's true. I mean, it's religious salt.
He caught.
This is some
Or
magic.
else it was going to hit him and just go.
Oh.
But
Well, now I gotta clean that up.
Yeah. Well, now I need to sweep.
he does catch it though. He puts it down and he looks inside and he says, "Wow, you got some ball here."
You might say that.
He reaches down, you can see he puts his finger in and dips it in, and just this dusting on the finger is on there, and he just goes, puts it in his mouth, and it seems to disappear.
Just the bones on the teeth.
So it is cocaine, is what you're telling me.
Well, who knows? Maybe it is for the gods. It's something. Who knows? Definitely very, very, very magical. But then he says, he says, "Ah, well, that's good. Can I get you something to drink? Perhaps a place to stay for the night. You look pretty tired."
Don't need any of that right now. We're going to be leaving shortly anyway. But,
Yeah, you said that last time. But
Well-
you're still here. It's been about 3 days.
3 days!
You're full of shit.
He's incredibly surprised.
Oh, this is the first thing anything has happened. Keep track of time. I've been able to keep track of it. I've been standing here counting seconds till you come back.
Oh my god.
Clink, 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 clink.
Dell just kind of looks at him and he's just like, has it really been that slow down here?
Oh, since before you guys, I don't even remember the last person to come in here.
He just kind of shakes his head and he's just like, hey, well, at least this time he's like, my other party members have seen Keldrin, so at least we know how to get out.
You see, if a skeleton could show sadness, you would see it upon his face.
Aww.
But there's this bit of silence, so maybe that's it.
Yeah.
No joke about it this time.
But at the very least, as Tenzani rightly pointed out, we did have to square up. We're good to go.
Well, much appreciated. Come on back if you feel like it.
It implies we'll never be back here, but I'll keep you in mind. It's just kind of whatever Bones didn't take, he grabs the bag back and heads back across the street to Tenzani.
He nods to you and his jaws click. You head at the door, yep.
As he's crossing the street, Erlon hears the door open in the distance and the door open over there. He just shakes his head and takes a few bites of the food that Nani prepared.
So, just for... Oh, no. Yeah,
So you head over to Tenzani's ticket box.
Yeah. He just kind of walks back in and he just says, all right, well, debt is settled up. Now what?
It is good to pay your debts around here.
I suppose one might say that. Anyway, so
Can I help you with something?
as before, now that my debt is settled up, you've provided boons to my monk friend and to our nearly 10-foot tall dragon bull.
Yes, I have. They have paid greatly for them, and one has paid dearly.
What else? What else do you have in that tinker box that might befit someone of my stature?
I am the collector of a broad range of magical items. What interests you?
Well, something to improve upon my sturdiness.
You put the bag of salt.
I throw her the 3/4 bag of salt.
Your belt of storm giant strength. Okay, your strength is 30 now.
Well, I'm not looking for more strength. I'm looking for more constitution.
And,
But,
and you say it was 3/4 full?
3/4 full.
Okay, she takes the bag and she lifts it up. I need to roll
A death saving throw.
percentile. Roll
Percentile?
yes.
Sure.
Roll death saving throw at disadvantage.
Oh God! Wouldn't that be fun?
That would suck.
That is 41.
41. Very good. As, okay, what she wants to sturdy, okay. And she says, as she takes the bag and empties out, she reaches out her hand to you, and it kind of just rolls out like this very awkward jelly roll of an arm, like there's not really much there.
Yeah.
Or if it is there, it's just broken and just shattered, but it doesn't, And her fingers are all kind of, all tilted and pitched a different way.
Weird.
Yeah. And that skin that you've seen before is now, or that you would see if you looked at her hand, there's no more bone showing on that particular part of it.
Oh.
She moves her hand out to you.
And it's a whole hand now.
It's a whole hand, yeah. So, yeah, Dell just kind of already knowing what to expect, he just
Flip the hand
plunks
in.
her out. Yep.
Iron grip on your hand, and with her other hand, she reaches out further than she should. He grabs onto your chest.
Oh.
And grabs onto your chest and takes the leather, the studded leather that you have. You know how it's formed and fitted on you,
Yep.
right? She grabs it, she crumples it up on your chest.
Ooh.
You can feel the strain at your shoulder, and then
Yep.
you can feel this heat. You can feel this yellow, pale, white magical energy flow over top of it. And you can see each one of the studs kind of glow and glimmer just for a moment. And then she lets go and draws her hand back. You now have +1 stud armor.
That's going to be icy.
Nice. I will take that. It's not a drastic improvement, but I mean, hey, 16 is better than 15.
You want a better pencil?
I don't know, I'm good.
+1.
I just need an eraser mostly.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Alright,
I
I'm
don't
good
know how
now.
much crazy.
He kind of looks down and he's just like, wow. Not as quite as dramatic as I was hoping for, but it'll do.
You didn't give up your soul.
No, exactly, that's true.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's what Errol did.
Harder than him, right?
He went heavy.
Yeah, no,
He
he
went heavy.
wants to kill those goddamn green
Yeah.
fuckers.
Yeah,
She says, as the bag of salt is now empty, is there anything else that I can help you with? Perhaps a fancy blade to go along with your fancy armor.
Do it. Well,
+1 buttons are almost good.
that's very true. He pulls out his rapier and he places it into her hand. What can we do with this?
She says, oh, I could make that very powerful. And the hand is the same thing.
Yeah. And
Like an octopus tentacle.
I'm thinking like a fruit
basically,
roll up.
yeah.
yeah.
Like a belt unrolling.
Right, yeah.
Squidward just.
Like a fire hose.
Hey, you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
Oh, he'll be feeling it after this, poor fucking dog.
Oh, she's going for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
She puts her hand out, each finger kind of arrayed differently. Iron grip again.
Yep.
Do you watch what she does?
Just out of his own curiosity, he would, yeah.
She reaches into her cloak, her clothing, and rips out this blade, this long black blade. It doesn't even look sharp. It just looks like a piece of stalactite that had grown,
Yeah.
and stabs it into your hand. Immensely painful.
Oh, yeah.
You can feel it all through your body. I'll need you to make 3 Constitution saving throws.
3,
DC 15.
15. I'll just roll 3d20 at a time. We'll save time.
Use some more. I got some over here.
Oh, no. Alright, so we failed all 3 of them.
3 levels of exhaustion.
Ooh.
You feel it immediately, just this weight upon your body, just pressing down on you. Even the armor on your body is just overwhelming.
loss of exhaustion.
Oof.
I think you passed one.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
pass.
I didn't pass.
Wow, you're fucked up.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
I'm a hurting unit.
Different.
Level 3 is a. Oh, there you
Oh
go.
yeah, what was it? Level 3.
Ooh, boy.
Disadvantage, speed,
Also-
and on attack rolls and saving throws.
You
Great.
disadvantage on everything
Also-
at half speed.
Take 20 points of necrotic damage.
Oof.
That does not come back until you rest fully next.
Okay. Well, those short rest hit dice were used.
Are
I'm
you
back
glad
to
you
40.
used all those hit points?
I have
Actually,
4 hit points.
Woo!
Every con save went with a d12.
Oh, wow.
You got 20. You rolled pretty high.
You got
2,
fucked.
a 9, or an 11, or 2, 7, and 11, or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Jeez.
as she takes the blade from you in her hand, she closes it, and you can see the yellow energy kind of encompass the blade. And it only lasts a few seconds, and then she lets it go. And it hovers over to your hand. You catch it? You take it? Can you
Yeah,
grab it?
I pick it up. Yeah.
You can feel it so light now. If you really look at it, it's got this green shimmer. It's a +1 right here.
Okay.
It's also made out of mithril.
Nice.
So that would just be a +1 to the damage or the attack rolls?
Attack bonus and damage.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Also, this blade has 3 charges on it.
Okay.
1 charge can be used to get advantage on a stealth check.
Okay.
And they recharge every night.
Okay.
Opposite of day because of the particular god.
Okay. And
I thought you were explaining to Zach what night was.
You're
like,
it's this
night
thing-
is the opposite of day.
Yeah. So it's 3 charges to get advantage on a stealth check.
Yep, and they 3 charges every night. Full.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very nice.
But you have
Oh, I'm
deep
fucking.
sunken in
Oh
eyes.
yeah, I'm
you are
fucking.
pale. You look at your skin. You are almost white, like it just took like 3 pints of blood, maybe.
Oh, probably.
That's what
I mean, yeah, like I said,
maybe that's
I
what
went
it
from.
is. She took your life force, your blood, and now you guys. That's where the exhaustion comes from.
Yeah.
It's hard to work when you're working on 45% of your blood supply.
Oh yeah, no shit, right? Man, I went from full health to 4 HP. Oof.
Wow, you got fucked up.
So you
Big
guys see him walk out of Tanzani's tinker box.
He's for flavor. What he's doing is as he's walking out, he's like it almost looks like he's drunk, where he's just kind of like taking a step and then he stumbles and he lurches forward and he kind of sways one way or the other. And when he gets back to the fireplace, he just kind of like tries to sit down, but he more like almost falls backwards prone. He's just kind of like.
Erlon, hearing him come up, Erlon will just try to hold out his new staff to try and brace his fall.
No.
Just hit him with the staff. Takes
You know what,
You don't
4
have to roll. You got easy enough. Easy enough. You see, you help him down. Easy enough.
I think actually, given how fucked up he is, I'm gonna whatever he just rolled, I'm gonna try and I guess not necessarily oppose, but I'll do it at disadvantage.
If it's in a
Just for flavor, because you never know, right?
Because he's not trying to help at all.
Well, no,
It's
yeah,
a
exactly.
strength thing. You're holding him up. He's trying not to fall down.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I failed miserably.
Okay.
But that's okay. So yeah, either way, he falls
He
down. He just
catches
kind of
him right on the thigh, and his balance is completely off, and he just goes over. You are much stronger than you were now that you've attuned to these items. And it's just, you didn't think were holding it up that hard, but you were holding it up pretty hard, and he just went over it like a limbo stick. He fell on his back. You guys can hear clink, and
Thump.
It was more
as
just
I hit the ground, it's more of a. And he just kind of groans. He's like,
so it was more of just the angle he fell.
yeah.
I just didn't.
basically, yeah. He
so
caught him just under the hip, and it was just too
Yeah.
much up top.
it helped him trip.
Well, essentially.
You guys also, when you guys see this, you guys can see Maximus over there looking at both you guys, his eyes cut. He's just, rubbing his blade up and down, sitting there. Ravim is still inspecting the reliefs in the wall. Looking at you guys, though, you definitely see him look at you and note what happened when you guys came out, but he doesn't go near it, doesn't do anything towards it. Nani, Galus, you guys are making food. Galus, you see this glowing orb inside her pocket. Do you remember what it was for? You guys remember what the god
We
said?
had to find. Well, we were supposed to like save humanity or some shit, wasn't it? What are we supposed to be finding? I honestly don't remember.
I haven't got that far in editing. I don't remember.
Anybody remember?
Do you remember what that was? Because I started asking a bunch of questions about how to find it. Where do we find it? But I can't remember.
The orb gives the, it reveals if a certain thing is within the area, and that certain thing is a piece of a dead god. Basically, remember those stones that the guys with Oros brought out at the ball?
Mhm.
One of those.
Godstones.
Glowing. Right
Godstones. Yes, right there.
now. Honey, what is glowing in your pocket?
Yeah, dude.
I'd say roll deception, but she's already seen it.
Roll persuasion.
She's not really trying to convince her.
Bayless just reaches over and shoves her hand in his pocket.
Sleight of hand. 6. You feel her hand go in, grab onto it. The 5 to actually physically grab it. Lower than that, you would have dropped it. But you physically got it. But easily kind of get wedges in her pocket a little bit because the knuckles around it are a little too big. Pull it out.
Because I have dwarf-sized pockets.
Glow.
Huge knuckles, apparently.
You want to pull it out?
Pregnant. You're fat.
Oh! You have that. Except on the inside, it's this blue color that's emanating from it.
That's exactly what I did with Kelly.
And that gives the, telling you that there is some sort of godstone in your presence.
Now he reaches out and takes it back.
Yep.
And puts
Did
it back in
it
her pocket.
glow any brighter when Galus had it?
Tanith, you're not tired. You're feeling great. You feel great. You feel alive. You feel like you've never felt like this before. You have power within you now, and you can feel it. You can hear it like you're just a rumbling engine. This is something.
Different, but not unwelcome. Very welcome.
Erlon, that little abandoned shack we kind of slept in when we first got there, Erlon's just going back to that. He's going to curl up on the floor and just sleep. He's exhausted.
Oh yeah. Dell is, if
Poor
not
Dell.
more exhausted, he's at least comparable. So he's just like, ooh, he's just flat out. Just,
Galus and Donnie are just hanging out.
You guys are also
Yeah, we're-
tired.
Oh,
You've been awake for quite a long
20
time.
days, apparently.
Yeah. So you're tired, and you
Yeah, I
feel,
suppose.
so you guys get a good meal.
Yeah.
You know the rations are done. Did you roll?
Roll for the
It was,
Oh, yeah.
it was 15.
Oh, that's good. Hey,
15 plus
great,
whatever.
great for rations. Absolutely.
It's 18.
There you go.
here you go.
So I guess we're gonna follow Erlon and know how to
I
sleep
guess
in
we
the shed.
should probably do that. I mean, I'm going to follow.
You guys all go into the room. Tanith, what do? Do you go in the room?
Yeah.
Okay,
She's
everybody.
sitting
I'll still facing the door though.
I was like, hopefully you picked me up because like, I'm just
I'm literally carrying you by your chest.
Like a briefcase.
Rolling acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
To see if you can fit yourself through the door frame.
God.
Holding another
18.
dragon.
18. You do. You were able just to nick. You see a
There's
little
a
piece of wood,
switch there.
nick off there, nick off here, but you're able to squeeze your body inside. Now, Tanith takes up 30% of this place. He's almost a large creature, but not technically.
Large is 10 foot. I'm 9'6".
So it's not up that he grew. He also grew out. So it's like 9.5 by like 9.5.
Yeah. I
So
think
he's not quite
So
a large
it's
creature.
really like
So-
7.5.
Yes.
I think I roughly did my weight up to like almost 600 pounds.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So like I was just going off of like how humans like when they're normally scaled weigh when they're really tall.
That's hilarious. So I just picture you, as I said, just carrying me like a briefcase. Just
And after you guys go, Nani and Gills, do you guys go in?
Nani basically just waits for Janet to settle down and then finds a nook. And just tucks herself
He is much warmer now.
Yeah.
Way warmer than he was.
I'm sitting in the corner, so my back bites to gouge the wall out.
There you go. They do a little.
Which I'm pretty
He's
sure.
stuck in the wall.
I'm pretty sure they're actually talking through my armor.
He gets up the whole house comes with him. It just has a house
Yeah.
stuff going on.
Instead of becoming a dragonborn, he's now a turtle.
After about 45 minutes, you guys can see Raven come in. When you went in the house, Everybody roll perception to win in the house. Naughty with advantage.
I'm already asleep.
Good.
You're
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm already out.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm glad you said that because the first one was a 1.
13.
That's 20.
20,
14.
14. You guys can see that the ball that she has is no longer glowing. About 45 minutes later, when Raven walks in the door, it begins to glow again.
In that very dark room.
Do you guys have anything lit? Any torches lit or anything?
Definitely.
The party has dark vision.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
most of them.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Deximus does not. Dex is in there and he has a torch.
If he's buff, he's blind as shit.
Yeah, he is. Oh, actually, I think I said there was a dull light
Yeah.
emanating from everywhere in here. That's right. So there's dim light, so people can still see for the most part. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Stars up above.
Stars.
Sky shine bright. Sky at night. Deep in the heart. No.
Texas.
Yes, there you go. It's a Texas anthem. Exactly that.
That's
Very
very
bigger in Texas.
So you guys rest. What are you gonna do?
I gotta curl up next to Tana and go to sleep because I'm knackered.
I am going to rest.
Huh.
Is this are we getting a long rest?
Well, as long as we're.
Raven didn't notice the glow.
Oh wow.
I would
Way to
like
go.
to see Raven try something.
So yeah, as she asked, is this counting as a long rest or what?
Did you guys try the long rest?
Yeah.
Let's give it a go.
What do you
and
do?
see what
I mean, anybody
I would say
just
that
going to
Dell would
sleep?
definitely be where he's
Watch.
already
Watch.
fucking
Yeah,
exhausted.
definitely. You guys out for sure. The rest of you, however, that are up.
I'm snuggled.
Anybody staying up for watch? Tana stayed for watch. Okay.
I've got
Gales?
the best vision for it, so.
He's also
Everybody-
holding up the building, so.
Everybody kind of goes to sleep. And
Tucked into Tana's tail.
and Tannis just lays there.
I'm sitting in the corner.
Sitting in the corner, it's be hard to lay down maybe nowadays.
Oh,
Now that you're 9.5
If
feet
you
tall.
lay down, you're
Yeah.
taking up the
Stand
entire
up.
building. We don't have that kind of space. sir.
Slides
You
down.
guys fall asleep, get a full night's rest. Nothing bothers you. Tanith, every now and then, maybe 2 times through the night, you hear a ruckus. From outside, you can hear this loud snapping. Nothing you guys haven't heard before.
That
Perhaps it's that
displays
displacer beast.
What to do?
Can anybody see invisibility?
I've got blind sight.
It needs to be invisible.
Didn't even know that was an option.
I'm sure that would be greater visibility if somebody has blind sight. They'd be
Oh.
able to see it. Well, they'd be
No,
able to.
blind sight
Wouldn't
is
they
just
probably-
you're able to sense it.
Yeah,
Yes.
They would need
Sensitive
true
your
sight for
actions.
that, wouldn't they?
True sight.
True sight
The
would
thing,
be
but-
required for that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if any of your particular backgrounds may or may not have it, so nobody has it. I just want to clarify, because if it did, I'd have to go retcon something. But we don't.
So,
We're safe.
just because I haven't played much with the level of exhaustion, so does that decrease on like a long rest? So
1 long rest equals 1 level of exhaustion.
okay.
So everybody who has, so you'd be at 2
I'm at-
when you
I'm-
woke up, you'd be at 1 air long when you woke up.
Okay.
And Deximus and Ravam also seem to be back to their cherry selves.
As cheerful as they can
As
be.
cheerful as they can. You guys.
God, I just realized I had a heavy crossbow. It looks like a hand crossbow.
You probably can't even use it the size of your hands.
Have to get you just the pinky nail of your
Yes.
claw in there.
Literally.
Twink.
So you guys are fully rested, some still tired. You guys get your hit points back.
Thank God.
Thankfully.
I need every help I can get.
You guys wake up.
Yeah. Exhaustion level 1 is just disadvantage with ability checks, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just that?
Just
Not attacks?
And I was say exhaustion
Attacks, I
level
think, is
2,
number
speed
3.
is still speed is half.
Yes.
Yay, the speed is not halved.
Yeah. Should never get to level 6. Level 6 is death.
Yeah, level 6 is
Damn,
dead. Hold on, let me see that.
Well, somehow, if you can get past level 5, that's kind of impressive because your speed is 0 at level 5.
That's me. You're yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you're
you
Basically, you
on your
have to you
deathbed.
fall over
You're-
and sleep.
Yeah, you're effectively on your deathbed. That's like the last stage before you
Are broken, yeah. That's great. Yeah, speed reduces 0 at level 5, and then hit point maximum halved at level 4. Holy shit.
It's good. They get that
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah, we didn't
You
make
got
a deal with
cows.
the devil, so we just stuck it
I mean, I was halfway there. Goody.
So you guys all wake up.
I don't know, do we?
Yes. Everybody
We
wakes up.
do! Yay! Okay.
Nobody dies of
Provide
rage.
another one.
Tanith kind of gets up and moves after a certain amount of time. He's got to move. He's got two women laying on him. He's doing his best to stand
And not
still for
crush
the
them.
entire night, but he moves and you guys do the rest of the wake.
Whoever is using my tail as a pillow, you're welcome.
Gillis just kind of nods, rolls over, cuddles into Nani.
Carolyn's sleeping in the remnants of the fireplace.
In the fireplace.
It's just
Imagine
covered
being
up
a
in
soot.
Oh, I have
jeez.
Cinderella with us now.
Your cloak all torn up, covered in soot. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, great, we gotta bathe the elf now.
If she's seen you
Bathe
right
the
now.
elf.
Oh man, you see, just
She's probably dead.
with all
Yeah,
the
you went downhill fast, man.
Yeah. with all the noise that's going on, Dell just kind of like groggily opens his eyes and he just kind of strains to sit up and he just kind of looks around and he's just like, well, I suppose we're all still alive, so there's that.
Carolyn rolled a natural 15 to stay asleep.
That's smart.
I'd say that you're resting comfortably.
In the fireplace.
Curled
Just
up in a ball.
absolutely-
And then suddenly, fireball!
Nani, oops, I've done my breakfast.
No. Cook over an open fire outside. That's the way to do it. Which, speaking of, Nani's gonna make breakfast, obviously.
Right, no, he
And
makes.
that's not good. We're not gonna talk about that.
What's that now? Is that an actual one?
She starts the fire with Erlani.
As you guys, you know,
Whoopsie doodle.
the natural one is she wakes you up. Just get in the
I
fire pit.
countered your roll.
Yeah.
Suck it.
You're in the fire pit. You're in the way.
Just drags him by the foot.
As nice as Nani would do it.
Carolyn,
She's not listening. She's making food. Get away.
Carolyn wakes up. Carolyn wakes up, still
The
feels
children are hungry, okay?
he still feels like a half a pound of bag of shit, so he shimmies down like 4 feet, and he just closes his eyes again.
Nani muttering under her breath as she's like trying to dust the soot out of the way so she can start the fire. Just rips a piece of wood off the wall. Chucks it. The piece that was attached to Tanith's spike on his back, she rips that, pulls that off, and throws that in the fireplace.
Thank you.
Starts a fire.
Couldn't actually reach that. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Starts a fire, starts making some sort of
I just sort of like refine above game. I sort of refine the shape of Tanith's new horns. They kind of start off like death claws from follow. They kind of go forward a little bit, and they go up, and then they're almost perfectly parallel, kind of like right about here. But they're not perfectly parallel. Just a little bit of a V out, and every so often there's an arc of electricity that goes up like a Jacob's ladder.
Nice.
He has a cattle prod on the top
He
of his head.
has a taser.
Taser, thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
No, that's
Yeah.
appropriate. Yeah.
Oh, Kale.
That's literally all I
Since
say.
it's the next day, and I've been pretty much wearing the small ring on like attached to me. Is it just a signet ring, or
No, it's actually. Did you tune to it?
is it? I didn't know it was tunable.
It is.
Wow, that changes things. What kind of ring is it?
Homebrew.
Oh, good.
Plus 10 move
Whatever we
speed.
want it to be.
Plus 10 to speed.
Plus 10 move speed.
What the fuck? Okay, so his legs are like 4 inches or 4 feet longer. So probably makes sense.
You need to move 30 feet. Takes 1 step.
It also gives you a climb speed of 30.
Oh wow. Ring of spider climb.
Not really. It's just a rogue's thing. They can give them a little bit of speed.
Still
I
riding
think, but I guess
Tanith's
it can be
Yeah, me too.
technically the spider.
And we
climb.
both could.
My move speed is going down by the day, so I'm just gonna hitch a ride.
Yeah, we're just gonna ride Tanith around.
that climb speed being said, even with the climb speed, spider climb, you can go up a vertical space. You physically need to be able to climb it.
Yeah.
But you will have climb speed.
Erlon trying to sleep in the corner as Nani is cooking and everybody else seems to be slowly
Clanging
waking
around.
up.
Clanging around with a monsters.
He'll mutter, Nani and Galus, you should go spend the rest of your salt at Zani's. Get something.
And Nani looks at you, dying on the floor, and just shakes her head and goes back to cooking food.
She stabbed my hand because I already spent all my salt.
Yeah, I don't have any salt, and I'm not in the mood to get stabbed today, so no thanks.
And Nani just looks over at you dying on the floor and shakes her head again.
Yeah.
And goes back to cooking food.
Dell's just like he's sitting upright, but you can and cross-legged, but he's still just kind of wobbling a little bit back and forth, almost like he's.
Yeah, these two are not okay.
Yeah,
Do not go in there.
I don't.
You are a warning poster.
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah,
Don't do
send-
drugs.
Send a pregnant woman to 3/4 of
It's not for you.
This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
A dragon blood dragonborn rocking back and forth in the fetal position.
So,
Yeah.
is Rabin still in here with us?
He left again.
He has.
If you notice, you would notice that your
I mean, I don't really pay much attention to
your
him.
sphere blinked out.
Well, I'm just gonna. I'm gonna take the sphere back out and just sort of.
Do it.
Just sort of heft it. See what it's all about.
You take it out. You
Yeah.
take it out. You
Take
look
it
at
out.
it. It's
Checking
not
it out.
showing any light right now.
It's not doing anything exciting.
Everyone looks up from the floor, can't sleep again, and he says, looking at that orb, he says, "Wasn't that glowing earlier, Donnie?"
Maybe.
Yes, yes, it was.
Giving up all my shit!
Erlon 2.0. Erlon looks up from the ground as he's sleeping, and he can't really get much more long rest because he can only have one every 24 hours. So he tries to sleep, shutting his eyes, but both the noise and the food wakes him up, and he looks up to Nani with that orb. Wasn't that glowing before, Nani?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay, so I wasn't seeing things then. Oh,
Not then.
what is it? What is it? Shoots you a glance, and he says, "What is that? What is that for? Did Keldrin give it to you?"
Maybe.
Looks
Yes.
over at Gaines.
Right after I got my stick. She was a little bitter about the stick. You know, she wanted her husband and her child, but she got a stick.
I mean, to be fair, I'd be pretty pissed too.
I got a door
And an orb.
and an orb.
She got a door.
And I got a gem that turns me half dead.
That's true.
Erlon says that he looks at Nani and he says, what? Does it just glow? What is it? He shakes his head. So the god of death gave you a bauble.
It's supposed to help us find something. Something about Death Eater stones or something.
Death Eater stone.
Harry Potter!
They were godstones.
Stones, okay, sorry.
Did he tell us that though? Did he tell us about the godstone? Did he actually say?
Oh,
He explained it.
My memory's not that
No,
good.
no worries. He explained it. It's it glows when it feels the presence of the essence of a god, which is basically these rocks that you guys seen at the ball. There were 4 guys who had them. And it glows when it's within the presence of that power, that energy.
Baba.
Nani walks over and hands the orb to Erlon.
Takes it and looks at it and he sees it's got that kind of like, does it have a blue tinge to it or is it just clear?
Perfectly clear. Perfectly clear. It has the rounded look. If you look through it at Tanith, it would look completely disfigured. But it's not bubbly, it's not cloudy, it's perfectly clear.
He's holding it up. Oh, it's glowing. Is there something around here?
Nani takes the orb back.
Is there something around it? Oh.
Puts it back in the pocket, goes back to making food.
Okay. Erlon gets up and he starts doing. He walks outside. There's not a lot of space in here, and he starts practicing his forms with his disadvantaged state. Natural, a nat 20 or
You don't need to.
or a nat 15.
with your bonuses, you are able to
Soft 21.
get to that
Not
place,
bad.
find your key, find the zone, and you can kind of separate yourself from the exhaustion in your body and all the things and the memories that have happened. But every now and then, one of them does seep in. One of the memories you can see, just for a second, flash. The ground is shaking, and a large rift opens up, and then all you can see is just the dissipating light as you're falling within the rift.
Passive one. Would that be the depths?
Nope, you were on a green landscape. Flat.
You want to roll history maybe to see if I can recall?
Yeah,
where
sure,
it is?
absolutely.
Kind of. Disadvantage. It's either a. Well, no, that is a 16.
16?
Not bad.
It had a familiar sense to it. Perhaps Delron?
Grasslands of Grinhelda.
Could have been. You've been wherever it was. Erlon's been there before. Living or traveling, one or the other.
So some crazy stuff is happening in his midst.
But you reach that zone, and you're out there practicing your forms.
Well, after he notices that, like Bill notices that, he kind of gets up shakily and just kind of slowly wobbles his way outside. Just kind of watches Erlon going through his little kind of meditation practice forms, kind of similar to how he was watching Tanith back at the Gretch Mansion.
Okay, excellent.
And so Dell just kind of sits down outside the building and just kind of watches. Just waits for him to finish. Just doesn't want to disturb him, but does want to have a chat with him about what he experienced with our creepy little merchant.
Sounds good. Nani, Gales, Tanith, you guys are still inside?
Dan's gonna make his way outside.
Okay,
I
sounds
think
good.
the walls are wrecked.
Stone.
I think,
No, they're not wrecked.
I think I recall it was like there was no roof to this.
There was a
building.
roof,
Oh,
but
there
it was very abandoned and falling apart. Like you can look at the wall and see the cracks. You can see the displaced beast walking by through the cracks. You can see the shadow go. It's barely a shelter.
I mean, I did
Barely.
burn a couple of pieces, but
That's true. Now there
might be-
are planks that are torn right off the wall. You can see right outside. Tanith, roll acrobatics for me, please.
Oh, good. This is gonna be
so you can get back out of the building or be stuck in there.
Or it just takes a minute.
Oh no! No, I get stuck.
How much?
Natural one.
And that is where we will end the evening. Thank you for watching the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. This has been The Depths of Felthan, Episode 20, Funnels and Tunnels, Part A.